Example 3 has us solving another triangle, so I would try diagramming it again. But notice side A is 9.47, side B is 15.9, and side C is 21.1. Pretty obvious this time we've got side, side, side. That's going to be case 4, law of cosines. Case 4, law of cosines. So, I need to find an angle, and it doesn't really matter where you start. Let's just start with the smallest one. And notice kind of a partnership here. If you want to find angle A, then you got to notice that that's across from the smallest side. And so how I would set this up is I would say 9.47 squared is equal to 21.1 squared plus 15.9 squared minus 2 times 21.1 times 15.9 cosine of angle A. So again, I think the most important thing to notice is that side A is on the far left and angle A is on the far right. Make sure you put the numbers in the corresponding spots. Okay, so I have to solve for angle A. I think the easiest thing to do is to manipulate the algebra in your head ahead of time. Okay? I don't want to have to type in a whole bunch of different numbers into my calculator and then use those numbers into new numbers. So here's what I will do. I want you to really focus on the algebra. I'm doing some mental math here. If I was going to isolate A, I would have to subtract these two things over. Okay? We're going to subtract those two things over, and then we're going to divide by that negative 2 times 21.1 times 15.9. Okay? So kind of in my head, I'm rearranging the equation to where it would say 9.47 squared minus 21.1 squared minus 15.9 squared divided by negative 2 times 21.1 times 15.9. Okay? I'm trying to isolate the variable. But I move all those numbers away, and I've got cosine A by itself. And so I'm going to type all that stuff into my calculator all at once. Now what you have to do, though, in order to type this in correctly, you're going to want to put parentheses around the top and parentheses around the bottom. Okay? And so it's going to be all that stuff in parentheses on the top divided by all that stuff in parentheses on the bottom. Very important that you utilize the parentheses correctly, otherwise it's not going to come out right. So let's all try to type this into our calculators and see if we can get the right number. Fingers crossed. Start with parentheses though. Close parentheses around the top and divide by quantity on the bottom. .9066 is what I got. Hopefully that's what you got. 0.9066, and we're not finished. That's not the answer, because we haven't completely isolated A yet. The next thing I would have to do is what? Inverse cosine of that. Okay? So inverse cosine of that. What? That's not right. Roughly 25? Okay. Now, technically that's a 25-degree reference where cosine is positive. Okay. However, we don't really care about that if you look at 25-degree reference where cosine is positive, that gives us a 25-degree angle, or that second will be 335. Can we possibly have an angle of 335 inside of a triangle? That's never going to be possible. The second answer to that equation is never going to fit in a triangle, so we can always ignore it. So A is just going to equal that 25 degrees. And so I might go ahead and label my picture with the 25. And then we're going to have to do law of sines to figure out the next angle. Okay? Remember what I said though. When you've got your choice of either B or C, pick the smaller of the two angles. So which angle is the smaller remaining angle? B. So let's find that smaller remaining angle. Sine B over 15.9 equals, we're going to use our A values because we've got them both. We've got the angle of 25 and we've got the side of 9.47. So if I was going to solve that equation, I'm going to multiply up. I'll multiply both sides by 15.9, I guess. It's going to look like 15.9 times sine 25 divided by 9.47. About 0.7096. I like rounding to 4 decimals. Sine B is about 0.7096. Now I would write down 0.7096, but I leave that whole number inside my calculator for the inverse sine. We take the inverse sine of that number and get about 45.2. Okay? Angle B is going to be 45.2. Now keep in mind, we chose B. We chose to find angle B because it was not the biggest angle. And so the fact that it's not the biggest angle means that we don't even have to look at that other angle. Okay? So don't even worry about finding that second angle. We're never going to have two triangles here when we do law of cosines. Okay, so I've got B equals 45.2. Should be easy to find the third angle. You just subtract from 180. Angle C is going to be 180 minus 25 minus 45.2. 109.8? Okay, good. C equals 109.8. And there we are.